Race fans, the Federated Auto Parts Dirt Car Nationals is bigger than ever. From January 29th through February 14th at Volusia Speedway Park. See the world of outlaws, sprint cars, and late models. Plus, American Sprint Car Series, USAC National Sprint Cars, the Super Dirt Car Series, and the Dirt Car UMP Modifieds. Ticket packages, camping, and more at DirtCarNationals.com. Next winter, head south.
Every lap, every race, every bit of paint traded for every hard-fought place. Every checkered flag and trophy raised. Every ounce of dirt, sweat, and gears. They're all jammed inside every can of NOS Energy. Go ahead, open up a can.
If your answer to the summer heat is let it rain, we're looking for you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
I chose the Chasm system. A lot of the top drivers in the sport were using it, and being a father and all the back injuries happening, I felt like it's just extra insurance on keeping your back healthy and safe. Years ago, I broke and fractured my T5 vertebrae. Since then, I've always been on top of my safety stuff, but I think the Chasm is just the next layer of being on top of the safety.
It's ARP fasteners for whatever you race. From 2 wheels to 4. Off-road, on-road, even water. From the flat track to the salt flats. Grassroots racers, weekend warriors, and pros alike trust ARP. Made in America quality, family-owned and operated. When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com. No matter what you race.
Looking for a refreshing change? Say goodbye to sluggish performance and reach for the one that won't slow you down.
That's crisp.
Experience the force of clean, pure oil coursing through your engine. No matter what you drive, Wix Filters is the clear choice. Here's to filtration that works as hard as you do. Wix Premium Filters. Performance starts here.
At Pit Boss Jack's, we put in the work in the shop so you can put in your work at the track. Engineering, speed, durability. Pit Boss Jack's, like a boss.
This is a Dirt Vision special presentation. The best drivers, the best coverage. It's time to watch the greatest shows on dirt on Dirt Vision.
Blake Kahne first lived up to his family name a long time ago. Across virtually every racetrack, series, and event his grandfather helped build, he's found himself victorious. From domination at Creek County, ASCS championships, Tulsa shootout glory, and now a win at the Chili Bowl Nationals in preliminary action. Kahne led the way on a Tuesday night jammed full of intrigue. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Dirt Vision studio. I'm Connor Wade, and of course we'll hear from Dave Rieff shortly and throughout our hour-long coverage. We'll be on Dirt Vision and its social platforms until 4:30 p.m. today and the rest of the week. An exciting York Plumbing qualifying night awaits, but first we've got to talk about last night. The early stages of the night remained relatively calm. However, that portion of the night was spotlighted by Jonathan Beeson. Starting in row 3 of the night's final heat race, contact on the start stacked Beeson up and sent him over. It looked like a light flip, but a lot of damage on that 8J. That handicapped him to a D main, and that's when it became Beeson's season in the Expo yet again. Even surviving more accidents not once but twice along the way, Beeson won the D, finished second in the C, and then drove from 14th to the runner-up spot in the B, an incredible drive to make it into last night's feature. When it came to feature action, it felt like the early 2000s all over again with a couple old guys in Zach Dahm and JJ Yealy on the front row, thanks to their points accumulations. Stop me if you've heard this before. Zach Dahm rolled the bottom and led the early stages of the race, but when the top came in, Hank Davis was the first one to find it. He rocketed from the starting spot of 5th to take the lead and pulled away. Now Blake Kahne started this race in 8th and spent the first half of it driving onto the podium. He found himself in 3rd with 10 laps to go, and after pressuring Dahm for 2nd, secured that position on lap 22, but he was not content with just a lock-in spot and needed just 3 laps to stalk Hank Davis and take the lead. The man who Caleb Hart has dubbed the Crown Prince of Tulsa secured his first ever midget victory inside the Expo, a feel-good story for number 52. Also stealing the stage last night was Jet Barnes, the 14-year-old Kevin Swindell prodigy. He fought his way onto the podium in impressive fashion. He'll be in a great spot to get into the show from a B-main on Saturday. Zach Dahm and Landon Brooks rounded out the top 5 in what was a night truly filled with great stories and battles all throughout. The two with the least worries, however, Hank Davis, who scores his 3rd career prelim lock-in, and Blake Kahne, who's getting a fat check from Grandpa.
To me, I knew I always wanted a race, but once I got into a race car, this was the race that I wanted, right? This was a race that meant everything to me. So for the last 15 years coming here, every January, that was our goal, is to win. But we've had good speed, just never had really spectacular speed, but it's something we've been growing on the last couple of years. But tonight, everything just fell out perfectly. And the biggest race in my mind to win, to have my family here, just that's what it all means for me. It's just amazing. You can tell, man, it just means a lot to our team. We're a family-owned team. My grandpa and my grandma gave me the opportunity to run this thing, and we've been able to continue to grow off of it. And I do feel a lot of pressure. I want to perform. I want to show everybody what I'm capable of, right? I feel like our team's good enough to compete for a win, and we maybe didn't have the results to show it. So I really just want to show everybody what we're capable of as a small team. Honestly, once I got to 2nd, I kind of, the thought crossed my mind to kind of just settle, you're in, so don't really get too worked up on it and just don't make mistakes. But I had a really good car. It was really stable. I could really attack the corners. I felt really comfortable with it, so I was like, man, let's get this thing done. So really got some good speed going towards the end of that thing and was able to get by him. And at that point, I think when we got by him, it was about 5 to go, and I was counting every single lap after that. And man, it was just it was amazing just to be able to climb out after the race is over and look up and see this packed grandstands with the spotlight on you. It's there's no better feeling.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's disappointment. You always want to win, but I wouldn't change anything. I don't think I did. I think he just caught me at the right time, and then he found something I hadn't found yet, and yeah, it worked out. But I mean, badass job for him. It's a cool win. Like I don't know how many people could be mad about that in this building. Obviously he's older, but I grew up racing with Blake and never ran into the guy, never had a problem with him. So no, I'm happy for him. Anyone I'd want to lose to would be him. I mean, we were good, so we got. I mean, the car we were good, so we could get to the front. And honestly, I almost think I might have got to the lead too early. I mean, just because I couldn't move. Once I got there, I had to just run what got me there, and so yeah, that can kind of be a double-edged sword. But we're locked into the biggest show of the year, so I'm not too mad.
Last night was a ton of fun, but it's on to York Plumbing Wednesday night. The third prelim of the week is stacked as always. There's a lot of young talent on this roster, but then there's also the savvy veteran that loves to still get after it, 5-time Chili Ball champion Sammy Swindell and his iconic square-tailed number 1. Jesse Love, NASCAR's O'Reilly Series champion, is back to his dirt racing roots. Cale Drake makes a run tonight with his new team, RMS Racing. The very versatile Kevin Thomas Jr. is out tonight for Four Kings Racing. Mitchell Moles has had some good runs in the Expo before, and his teammate RTJ looked solid last night for the Reinbold Underwood camp. Last year's Wednesday winner, Emerson Axsom, has a new chariot this year. More on that later. Superstar Corey Day with an engine older than him. We'll talk to both he and Willie Kahne in this show. Aiden Price from North Carolina goes for Keith Coons this evening. Remember, he was named just a couple of days ago to replace the ill Buddy Kofoid. And last but not least, last year's Chili Bowl runner-up, Dason Persley. Let's talk more about Casey Kane's new sprint car driver. Dason Persley finished 4th in the Chili Bowl 2 years ago after a stellar drive from the D-Main on Saturday. Flashback to last season, he was a prelim lock-in for the first time in his career and duked it out, going toe-to-toe with Kyle Larson for the win on Saturday. He came up a little short, settling for a close second after leading 3 circuits. If the last 2 years are any indication, Persley appears to be in prime position to be the next first-time Chili Bowl winner. 2025, what can you say? It was great to Dason after the Chili Bowl, as he fought his way up the sprint car ladder, most notably scoring big wins at the Four Crown Nationals at Eldora. The Oklahoman had his first chance to hold a Golden Driller a couple of weeks ago in the Tulsa Shootout. A special win for Dason, but he knows more than anyone that there'd be an even higher level of meaningfulness if he could win at the Chili Bowl. An impressive number for Dason is that between Shootout and the Bowl, his last 6 features in the SageNet Center have yielded finishes of 8th or better, and 5 of them have been 4th or better. He's quickly becoming a name you immediately think of running up front in Tulsa. Let's talk to Dave Rieff for the first time today, who's with an eager Dason Persley.
Well, for all the reasons you just mentioned, Connor, this guy isn't just knocked down the door. He did that a few years ago. Now he's got a seat at the front row, and of course will be a factor beginning hopefully tonight. Maybe perhaps able to duplicate and go one better than a year ago. But first, let's talk about your most recent trip to the SageNet Center. You finally got that Golden Driller.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that I've been trying for a long time as a kid. So was finally able to knock that one off my list. Was a huge accomplishment, but now looking for that Chili Bowl Driller is going to be an even bigger one.
For those scoring at home, it was a Winged Outlaw, and it came against Kyle Larson, who challenged you. That takes me right back to last year's Chili Bowl feature. So a little preview perhaps of what's to come?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, anytime that you can compete against Kyle, you know you're doing your job and everything is going right. So just looking forward to it, to get after it in the CB Industries Pristine Auction, Austin during Toyota Racing 86 tonight, and seeing if we can do our job here tonight to get us through the prelim and set us up good for Saturday.
Chili Bowl specifically, though, you seem to be becoming more and more comfortable inside the SageNet Center. What's the comfort level heading into tonight's qualifier?
Yeah, I mean, definitely have some confidence and know we need to get a little bit better from a Race of Champions performance, but nonetheless, Chad and everyone is going to work really hard and get me more comfortable, and I think that the confidence is as high as ever, especially coming off last week or 2 weeks ago, and I love this place. I have a lot of emotions when it comes to here, and I've been in a lot of great opportunities to make the most of it, and I feel like this is our best shot yet.
Obviously, the USAC Championship, Four Crown Nationals, the Driller now at the Tulsa Shootout. Have you allowed yourself to perhaps think what it would be like winning the lottery and or the Driller?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just kind of hard. You don't really know how to expect until you're holding that little thing come Saturday night, and I haven't got that feeling yet. So hopefully we'll figure it out come Saturday and see how it all feels.
Of course, you were probably watching last night, and you got to see Blake Kahne, the grandson of the founder, win in Oklahoma. That had to be pretty cool to at least see.
Yeah, I mean, definitely being an Oklahomian, watching him and Hank both lock it in was super cool. And I just think that Oklahoma breeds really good midget racers and really good sprint car racers and micro. And it all starts at that little place called Port City, I feel like. So, just super cool to see them, make Oklahoma proud. And hopefully I can do the same here tonight.
You obviously had a chance to analyze what went on the racetrack the last 2 nights. You had the Race of Champions as well. What can we expect tonight out of this racetrack?
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job come feature time. The heat races last night weren't really that great for a lot of passing. You had to, really be patient and stuff, as you've seen, like Ty did a good job yesterday. So hopefully they get the heat race tracks a little bit better, and then the qualifier tracks will, I think, continue to get better if they get the heat races. So feature races have been fast-paced like we usually see, and I think you're not going to see anything different here tonight when it comes feature time.
Have a good night, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Jason will be a lot of fun to watch tonight. We're going to step aside for a quick break for now. When we come back, we're going to take you for a little walk around the inside of the Tulsa Expo Center.
Ready to rise? To the challenge? Above obstacles.
Yes!
Above perceptions.
Ruttiger, implement the pass on the top lane!
Above it all.
Let's go!
If so, we're looking for you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
I'm faster than you. Yeah, well, I'm gnarlier than you. I get more sideways. I'm louder. Much louder. I get wilder than you. You sure about that, bro?
Harder.
Slicker.
Cooler. Tougher. Let's go.
So what you got?
Some races you watch. Some races you experience. June 17th through the 20th, the Huset's High Bank Nationals raises the stakes with $300,000 on the line, making it the highest-paying sprint car race in the country. The Huset's High Bank Nationals. Where will you be when history is made?
It's a moment of transformation when humans become heroes and training gives way to instinct. In that moment, senses are heightened to new levels. Every sound, every breath, every second that can mean the difference between life and death. Determination is matched only by empathy for those who need you most. In that moment, you need a tool that rises to the challenge. Simple, rugged, reliable. Amcus Rescue Systems, built for the moment.
Race fans, the Federated Auto Parts Dirt Car Nationals is bigger than ever. From January 29th through February 14th at Volusia Speedway Park. See the world of outlaws, sprint cars, and late models. Plus, American Sprint Car Series, USAC National Sprint Cars, the Super Dirt Car Series, and the Dirt Car UMP Modifieds. Ticket packages, camping, and more at DirtCarNationals.com. Next winter, head south.
Welcome back to Dirt Vision's live Chili Bowl pre-race coverage ahead of York Plumbing Wednesday night, the third prelim night of the week at the 40th Annual Chili Bowl Nationals, powered by NOS Energy Drink. Dave Rieff has been doing an incredible job in the SageNet Center for all three of our shows this week. We're going to go to Dave live right now. Dave, great to see you about an hour and 10 minutes before Hot Laps get underway on night number 3. You told me earlier you've got a plan for this segment, so hey, I'm going to give you the ball. Take us through a little walk around the pit area at the Tulsa Expo Center. I might chime in if I see something interesting every now and then, but you've got it, my friend. I'm excited to hear who you're going to talk to, so tell us what's going on here for the next 10 minutes.
Well, the best laid plans of mice and men oftentimes go astray, as I expect this to, especially in a segment that we expect to last somewhere around to the top of the hour. But you mentioned the SageNet Center. That's the one constant of the Chili Bowl over the last 40 years is the building it's been held within. And as we stand right here at the beginning of the pits and look down the long middle aisle, you can just see how massive this center is. This is the backstretch of turns 3 and 4. Over there, that's where everything goes on the racetrack, including the rowdies that are way behind Jackson Steele, my cameraman. But from right here this way, it's changed a lot in the last 40 years. You know, one of the things guys like me get into now as we get older is the logistics of how things look. Now, when I came here in the 1990s, there were a very few pit areas taken up. We didn't have 400 plus race cars. Now we do, and it was Emmett Hahn in the pre-race press conference that talked about the fact a couple of years ago he didn't know if we could grow this thing any bigger. Well, a record car count again this year, and a lot of that is because of the super teams, and you've heard about them all week long. You hear about them no matter what you watch, and we're kind of at the genesis of the super team area. Over here to the right, you see the Matt Woods racing team out of California. Such a strong run last year. Shane Golobic leads that group, and they are a powerhouse team. Already off to a really good start here, as they have already pushed a couple of cars. Shane Golobic 4th in his qualifying night, Landon Brooks 5th. Over to the left, though, of course, it's the Keith Coons Motorsports area. Last year, this pit area had 16 different drivers in it. This year, they're down to just 10? Oh my gosh, that is a massive downfall, but still some great cars. This is the car that Buddy Kofoid was scheduled to drive. It is going to have Aiden Price in it. He is a qualifier again tonight. As we look over here and see some of the other cars. In fact, there's Aiden's car. Apparently they're going to keep Buddy's car unfestered, but there's the car, the Mobile 71X, that Aiden will be racing tonight. You know what? Membership has its privileges. Let's be honest. I'm going to direct your attention over here. Jackson may not be able to sneak under the wire, but membership has its privileges. How? Gosh, he's so tall. He just leaped over that in a single bound. Come over here. Look way in the back. Hey, excuse me, Mr. Chili Bowl prelim winner. Come on down. When I said membership has its privileges for the last name Hahn, you can park right up here front. And that's what Blake did. You heard from just a little bit ago how excited he was in Victory Lane. Well, now you've had, about 18 hours to soak it in. Still feel pretty good?
Yeah, man, we're super excited, especially after coming back here and be able to chat with the fans, get me re-energized this morning, man. It's a great feeling. So yeah, the energy's feeling good right now.
So how did you celebrate? I mean, typically the Chili Bowl of past, you might have taken in a few libations. How did you celebrate?
Yeah, last night's a little different. Being a father, definitely the alarm clock doesn't change whether you win a driller or not. So after the press conference, got to come over here and hang out with my group for a little bit, and then got ran out of the building fairly quickly after that. So went home, had a beer or two with the guys here at the trailer, and then went home. And truthfully, I just sat on my couch for a couple hours, just soaking it all in. Watched the replay a couple times, and just taking it all in. And quick morning back up here, and just truthfully, just enjoying it up here, being able to talk to everybody.
One of the questions I seem to get a lot of was Emmett there? Did he come to Victory Lane? I'm sure it was an absolute blur for you. When you did get a chance to talk to your grandfather, what did he say?
Yeah, so first thing I remember I seeing him, I think he was down there in the infield, but saw him walking into the press room, and the first thing he told me was, I taught you everything you know. So it was funny.
It sounds like him.
It was funny to hear him say that to me, and I had to give him a hug. He's not much of a hugger, but I felt like this is one of those ones, it's time for a hug. So I'm just super grateful for him and my grandma for giving me the opportunity to come do this. It's been really fun and enjoyable to be able to come run the Chili Bowl with a family-owned team, and to be able to have some good runs that we've had, and to be able to have the run we had last night as a small team is just really enjoyable for us, and we're just grateful to be able to be up here. And
how's the merch been going? Been selling more now?
Awesome today, man. It was good yesterday, even before we won. But yeah, after you win one, these guys definitely been doing us really good and coming by and hanging out. It's been fun.
fun. With membership has its privileges. We mentioned merch. His merch is right here. A lot of teams are able to do that. Just come and put all of their wares on sale right here. By the way, congratulations. Enjoy the next couple of days as we get ready for Saturday. But theirs are all right here. A lot of them are in the trade show, and that's one of the things that makes this this event very, very unique. Event for a racetrack. Pits now that hold more than 400, and of course, a trade show. We'll talk more about that trade show, but let's continue to go down. Let's see if we can high step this one more time, Jackson. Up and over, I'll go down and below. As we continue to walk through really the powerhouse teams that are here, we're gonna keep working our way down and stop in and check with a guy that, well, for years, had just a single car. I'll high step it this time. Kevin Swindell is right here getting ready with his Emerson Axsom car, getting things dialed in. We'll give him a hot second because the important stuff takes priority, and that is, of course, the race car. We talked yesterday from a team of 1 to a team of 4. Couldn't have started much better, could it?
No, it's been good. You know, Race Champions was okay and probably made us feel like we were close, and then made some changes yesterday that seemed like they improved them. So, you know, we'd assume the 14-year-old isn't the best one I've got in the cars, but it went pretty good for it. So we'll see what we got the rest of the week.
Of course, that man's name is Jed Barnes. We had a chance to talk earlier today. I mean, racers typically talk in the woulda, coulda, shoulda mentality a lot, and he was really one position away in a qualifier from being on the front row of the feature.
Yeah, we were close. You know, it just ran second in the qualifier on the front row instead of ninth, so that was a big swing there. You know, and then just maybe a few little things here in the feature of getting clear of guys a little sooner, or you know, a couple little mistakes, and we'd have been close. So he made up a lot of time those last few laps there. Just, you know, if we could have got clear to those guys a little sooner. And, you know, I think when like Blake got to third, we were basically fourth almost, and then he got away from us, and just that little bit of time that he got out there was the difference.
Kyle Cummins and Logan Seavey to wrap up their days. Good luck tonight as we get ready for Emerson Axsom, who we will hear from coming up in just a little bit. But let's continue to walk up the pit area here. By the way, if you ever come, you have to stay out of the middle aisle. That is something you will hear incessantly. Stay out of the middle aisle. Jason Persley, you're going to hear from him in just a little bit. We talked with that guy about what he's got coming up. But let's just continue to make our way down the middle, where you can see race car drivers, fans, some in serious mode, some working, some getting things out for the adult portion of Chili Bowl, which happens. You know, one of the coolest teams right here on our left is the Alex Bowman Racing Team. We saw Briggs Danner put together a good night. Their cars count are down a little bit this year. They've buttoned up. They're having some fun as they get ready for Saturday night. But one of the cleanest pits reminds an old guy like me of Sammy Swindell's pit back in the days, the TMC car, always pristine. Alex Bright is getting ready to go with the Mike and Brian Dunlap team tonight. Next to them, of course, you got Cody Swanson. By the way, back up there, that's where Oklahoma's own Christopher Bell has got things packed up. What a start he has had. But let's make our way over here, because I did find something interesting right over here. From the mind of Flea Ruzick. Flea Ruzick is a guy that is an innovator, a fabricator, builds a lot of pieces and parts, helps a lot of teams, including Sammy Swindell, which we'll talk to more in just a moment here. But this is something he has just made. It's a rocket, rock'em sock'em. For those of us that are really old, you remember the old days where you kind of had to knock each other out like you were boxers? Well, work with me. We got a couple of good volunteers here. These are not shaken up Coke cans, so don't think for a moment that they are. Now, the rules are simple, fellas. You can move those wherever you want to. You can pull the arm to try to slap the other one's pop can. Adult libation if you're doing this late at night. And whoever gets the pop can to explode first wins. Can't cross the center line. All right, you guys ready? All right, here we go. On your mark, get set, rock 'em, sock 'em. Take each other on. You'll know when the right one hits. Oh, hold on, that's a stalemate, just like in wrestling. There we go. Action. Oh! And how fitting. I'm the one that eats it. Fellas, well done. Not a damn pop stain on any of them. Look at me. Unbelievable. Sick. Work with me real quick because we're running out of time. I didn't think I could cover 10 minutes. Shame on me. Somewhere down here, old guys. By the way, old guys, Sammy Swindell, the 5-time winner. Flea Ruzick's helping him. He's getting ready to go tonight. That always makes me excited. Way back here, hanging out at the front of the Petty Rossi team. I got to give a shout out to my boy JJ Yaley. My old friend from back in Phoenix.
Did you win or did you lose?
You know what? I staged the game. The kids they didn't get a drop on them. It all hit me. How about that?
I think you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, which is very typical when you come to the Tulsa Chili Bowl.
Speaking of, you could have had a better night than you did, but still, what's your overall perceptions on coming home? Where'd you finish? 12th last night?
Backed up to 10th. Had a left rear tire, cut a pinhole in it, so it was definitely hurting the handling of the thing there. But, obviously starting up front, even if you just stay in the road, rolled around 4th and 5th, and again, felt like the car was really good. And then under that caution, just really started losing a bunch of air pressure, and then you're just out there for the wolves. And once you get back to about 7th and 8th, it gets hairy in a hurry. So,
how many years you been doing this now? It's got to be 30.
This is 31, 32-ish for me racing here at the Tulsa Chili Bowl. So, this is all I know. In January, where are you going to go? You're going to Tulsa to go run a midget race.
That's why he is my hero, J.J. Ailey. We go back to the Phoenix days, talking about racing places like Manzanita, as well as the Copper World Classic. That's very, very cool. Apparently, we're not even going to make it all the way to the end of the road. I had more for you, but you know what? Time's call for commercial breaks and the pre-race show to continue. When we come back from this break on Dirt Vision, Connor Wade will pick things back up, and hopefully I'll dry out just a little bit. You're watching pre-race coverage of the Chili Bowl Nationals right here on Dirt Vision.
Looking for a refreshing change? Say goodbye to sluggish performance and reach for the one that won't slow you down.
That's crisp.
Experience the force of clean, pure oil coursing through your engine. No matter what you drive, Wix Filters is the clear choice. Here's to filtration that works as hard as you do. Wix Premium Filters. Performance starts here.
There's a moment behind the wheel of what I've built, where power overrides gravity, and I hit that zero moment. Zero doubts, zero fear, zero competition. No rule or mold I can't break. And limits, absolutely zero. And there's a non-zero sugar to get me there.
I think it's a very big deal that we have AMCUS, providing us with the AMCUS cutting tools throughout our series and World Racing Group. It's good that we were able to get a product in that's reliable and it does the job. If for some reason we had to cut a car apart or get access to a driver or a patient, we know that this tool here is definitely the one that we're going to work the best, get us in there quickly.
Race fans, the Federated Auto Parts Dirt Car Nationals is bigger than ever. From January 29th through February 14th at Volusia Speedway Park. See the world of outlaws, sprint cars, and late models. Plus, American Sprint Car Series, USAC National Sprint Cars, the Super Dirt Car Series, and the Dirt Car UMP Modifieds. Ticket packages, camping, and more at Dirt Car.
DMI Racing Components and Bulldog Quick Change Rears are developed, engineered, and manufactured to take you to victory lane. Whether you are a touring professional or a weekend warrior, the products offering you the best value, reliability, and performance come to DMI and Bulldog. Innovation Racing Components, proudly made in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, USA. Visit diversifiedracing.com to learn more about the complete line of DMI Racing Components and the Bulldog Quick Change Rears.
If this is your idea of ladylike, you're gonna fit right in. Join us at Toyota Racing.
At Pit Boss Jack's, we put in the work in the shop so you can put in your work at the track. Engineering, speed, durability. Pit Boss Jack's, like a boss.
This copyrighted Dirt Vision broadcast may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or distributed in any form without World Racing Group's written consent. Copyright infringement is a federal crime.
Welcome back. It's time to talk about Corey Day. Tonight, Corey Day begins his 5th attempt at the Chili Bowl. A Saturday podium finisher at the event in 24 and an 11th place run last year, Day's prelim numbers have yielded top 10s in 3 of his first 4 years. Day followed up a prelim win in 2024 with an 8th to 3rd on his prelim night last season. Tonight, he guns for his 2nd career Wednesday night win. Day has become known as one of dirt racing's most purely talented drivers to fans around the world. And not only that, but is known for his thrilling ability to do things on the racetrack that people can only dream of or do in video games. His sprint car resume includes 14 national wins between the World of Outlaws and High Limit, 3 consecutive Gold Cup Race of Champions victories, plus wins at both Eldora and Knoxville, and even most recently in Australia. He owns 4 career USAC midget wins, including one in the prestigious Turkey Night Grand Prix. 2026 will be Corey's first full-time pavement season as he will compete in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Can you think of a perfect dirt racing graduation present to catapult him into the pavement world? I've got one, a golden driller.
I mean, it all kind of starts with this draw right now, so see how we draw, and then you kind of figure out what angle you want to attack it from there. You know, if you're an early heat race, you got to have your car freed up because the track's gonna be wet. If you're a late heat race, you gotta screw your stuff into the track. So yeah, like I've said it multiple times this week, there's not really a trend for this place. You know, like it looks different on Monday every year, and then it looks different on Friday every year. Like there's not really a consistent, oh, if it did this on Monday, it's going to look like this on Friday. It's just always different. Yeah, you can't take any off laps. These guys are all really good, and they'll eat you up if you're just kind of cruising around there. So, yeah, you got to be, methodical. You can't, go and move to the top too soon after a rework, and then you lose spots, and then you're just behind the 8 ball. So you got to, be looking at the screen and be, just using all your tools to know when the right time to do that is. And then, yeah, I think that, it goes back to, like, your feel as a driver. Like Kahne there, like he said the other night, he just drove around and he didn't even know Kyle was coming. You got to have that feel to where you can feel the bottom slowing down and be like, oh, maybe it is time. So just trying to dial that in. There's just a lot that goes into racing in here.
Sticking with Corey Day for a minute, Corey, for the 3rd year in a row, has the pleasure of working with car owner and crew chief Willie Kahne. You've heard that last name before. Willie is the brother of Casey Kahne. He's one of the sharpest guys you'll find in the industry. Hundreds of drivers across the country win races on Factory Kahne shocks, Willie's shock brand, every year. Willie's been coming to the Chili Bowl for a long time and has had an all-star lineup of drivers, which he added Corey Day to 2 years ago. Nowadays, his midgets only come out for the West Coast Swing in November and the Chili Bowl, but every night they unload, they're a threat to win. The racing world doesn't really hear from Willie a ton as he stays mostly under the radar, but today he's been nice enough to take some time to chat with Dave Rieff for a few minutes. Dave?
Well, Connor, I read in a book some time ago about success and what it ultimately means, and it starts with liking yourself and then liking what you do and then liking how you do it. And as I stand next to Willie Kahne, I can't help but think that there's plenty of parallels that you can draw from that because you kind of have the world by the tail.
Well, I don't feel like I have the world by the tail. It's a difficult, humbling
sport, and you feel good when you're on the top, and that's not very often. So it's a lot of work and it's a lot of headaches, and I don't know if I like myself a whole lot most of the time. I'm pretty hard on myself, and I don't feel like I wish my car was faster than it is most of the time. So
but to do that, you got to go out and race more. But if you race more, then you can't work on the shock packages.
Yeah. Well,
it's catch-22.
It is, yeah. And the shock company is a good reason to be out here and developing and working on those things. And we get a lot out of it. I enjoy doing it. Obviously, I love the competition. Kind of fills my cup, and so it's good. But yeah, from a competitive standpoint, your car's just you're hard on yourself. But yeah, I enjoy all of this. When I'm at home, I'm just waiting to be here. So it's nice to be here, and I enjoy the competition and working on the shocks and the race car. Working with Corey's great, and so yeah, it's a good situation.
So what do you think of this kid Corey Day? Boy, he sure is something else, isn't he?
Yeah, he's if you get your car right, he's gonna be there and be tough to deal with. So that's our job, is just to get the car close and let him do the rest. Yeah.
What is it about his driving style that seems to fit you, or about your setups that seem to perhaps fit him?
Well, I think he's just the way he is, and we try to fit in there and get the car as good for him as we can. We definitely don't try to change the way he's doing things. It's more just getting him comfortable, and he processes things very fast. He's very smart and obviously really talented, good reactions and things like that. So you just try to get the car, get him comfortable, and if he's not comfortable, he's still going to go fast. It's just not going to be pretty. So you just that's kind of what happened in the ROC. So. We just got a little bit of work to do to get the car a little more comfortable for him, and then just turn him loose.
What do you think of these young kids now, as we seem to get a little higher up the ladder than those kids?
It's unbelievable watching the shootout and a lot of the kids there, and then Jet Barnes. It's crazy to see them process their racing and just countering moves and changing lines and processing the whole situation so fast at such a young age is unbelievable. Like it's hard to believe, really, to watch them do it. So yeah, it's exciting. I mean, the youth is here, and they get to watch videos so much and really develop so fast at such a young age. Like we just got to get the cars ready for them, because they're pretty much ready when they get in.
All right, so now we got to talk about the big giant gray elephant that's inside the SageNet Center. The 20-plus-year-old engine that continues to hammer down the road. How come you never go away from it?
The architecture of the Mopar engine's really good. Probably as good as anything, and we work hard to keep them running good. The actual block and cylinder head and stuff like that is original. This engine's a 2004. The other one we ran last year is a 2005.
Older?
Well, this one's older. Yeah, this one's a 04. But yeah, they're similar in age, but they have a lot of really good capabilities as far as the architecture of the engine to get the right kind of power for a midget engine. So they're hard to get the parts and things like that, which is why I don't think they're very popular. But as far as what they're capable of, they're really good engines. And so yeah, I don't think we're giving up anything there. I think it's just a matter of they're just not that available. Otherwise, you'd probably see more of them.
So if I happen to have one of those old blocks, you probably have a few parts?
You
buy it from me, or?
No, I'm not giving you parts. You give me the block. Yeah.
That sounds good enough.
Yeah.
This guy, absolute legend, loves spending time with Willie Kahne.
Thanks, Dave. Last but not least, it's time to talk about last year's Wednesday night winner. People that dream of racing the Chili Bowl, and even many that do race it, also dream of getting to work with Keith Kunz and or Kevin Swindell at the event. Very few people get to work with one of them, and it's an even smaller group to work with both. That's now a reality for Emerson Axsom, who won his prelim last season with KTM and now has slid over to Kevin Swindell's super team for this year's Chili Bowl. Emerson is a different breed when he steps into the Expo Center with multiple Tulsa shootout drillers to date, and now is trying to continue to build his Chili Bowl resume. Don't overlook his efforts on Saturday, as the last 3 years he's been 11th or better with a best of 5th in 2023. We've seen what Logan Seavey has done with Swindell in recent years, and Jet Barnes showed a lot of speed last night. That's going to leave Emerson Axsom feeling pretty confident as he makes his first Chili Bowl run with the Bulldog, turning his wrenches. 2 questions. 1, which sprint car tour is Emerson going to run this season? And 2, could this new Chili Bowl combination make Emerson Axsom even more dangerous in Tulsa?
Obviously, I've been with some really great teams in here and had some mediocre success, I guess you could say, at the Chili Bowl. Obviously not as great as I want yet, but I'm still young in age, and I feel like I come into this building with knowing that there is an outcome that, you know, we walk out of here with a driller, but we just got to go out and execute and do our job. And it's obviously, there's a bunch of guys in here with the same mindset, so you just got to go out and make sure you don't take yourself out of the race. And the nerves of this building, you have to just be able to tame them and go out there and do your job. Like, prelim nights a lot of times are a little bit easier than some USAC national races, but you see guys put a lot of emphasis on them and then go out and make mistakes and do dumb stuff to where you see guys like Logan have a lot of success once he got Kevin behind him, and Jet Barnes, a younger kid, has Kevin in his corner. And just, I think having a car owner that is calm and like, it's a trickle-down effect, right? Like, if you got a guy at the top that knows what he's doing and is calm and confident, then, you know, it leads to you being calm and confident and go out and do your job. It's just another race, and you go out and do your thing, and confident in your ability, and you just show up and do your job.
Man, there are some stars running tonight. Hard to pick a winner. Dave and I will narrow it down and go through He Race lineups when we return.
The Light Rescue Series from AMCUS is a game changer for rescue teams across the country. AMCUS engineers listened and made changes based on the feedback of those in the field. Gator grips allow for minimal slippage. The rotating handle and ergonomic design allow rescue teams to put this only 46-pound tool wherever it needs to go, saving lives faster in the moment.
The motor is a lot faster. It opens the blades a lot quicker than normally you would. And it's also made of carbon fiber and titanium parts, which makes it very rugged for us to use.
Simple, rugged, reliable. To learn more about the Light Rescue Series, visit amcus.com.
If your answer to the summer heat is let it rain, we're looking for you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
It was just a no-brainer for me. I felt like over the years there's been so many back injuries and so many people getting hurt. Scott Kaufman and everybody at Chasm Racing Products have come up with a system that basically supports your back. It gives you that little bit of cushion that you need when you get in those wrecks or that downforce collision, and I feel like next level cutting edge technology that just helps us as drivers just be that little bit more safe. I'm thankful for everything that Chasm Safety Products has done, and I think that they're going to continue to innovate, and it's only going to get better and better for the future to come.
Race fans, the Federated Auto Parts Dirt Car Nationals is bigger than ever. From January 29th through February 14th at Volusia Speedway Park. See the world of outlaws, sprint cars, and late models. Plus, American Sprint Car Series, USAC National Sprint Cars, the Super Dirt Car Series, and the Dirt Car UMP Modifieds. Ticket packages, camping, and more at DirtCarNationals.com. Next winter, head south.
Every lap, every race, every bit of paint traded for every hard-fought place. Every checkered flag and trophy raised. Every ounce of dirt, sweat, and gears. They're all jammed inside every can of NOS Energy. Go ahead, open up a can.
Some races you watch. Some races you experience. June 17th through the 20th, the Huset's High Bank Nationals raises the stakes with $300,000 on the line, making it the highest paying sprint car race in the country. The Huset's High Bank Nationals, where will you be when history is made?
Heat race lineups are in and hot off the press as York Plumbing Wednesday preliminary night at this year's Chili Bowl is just a little over 30 minutes, 39 minutes, I should say, to be exact, before we get Wednesday night underway. We're going to go back into the SageNet Center and talk to Dave Rieff once again, who kept us heavily entertained the last time we saw him. Dave, have you had a chance after all that coat you got sprayed on you to get a dry set of trousers on?
The inspiration, I don't know where it comes from. Hold on a second. I saved a little bit of it. It's okay. These pants will wash. The Airbnb has a washer and dryer, so we should be in pretty good shape. But it was funny. You know how karma can sometimes bite you. We were talking about what we were going to try to do, and when we got the kids to do it, somebody looked at me and said, you know, there's probably going to be a mother or two that might be upset with you. And I kind of said, I don't care. So guess what? Guess who ended up wearing it? Me.
Of course.
Seems fitting. Karma sometimes will bite you, so be careful what you plan for.
Well, hey, you had your fun there in that segment, and I hope you're having fun at this year's Chili Bowl once again as well. I don't know how you could not have fun after that race last night. You know, when Hank Davis took the lead, he definitely was fast. And like, I knew Blake was good, but man, those last 7 or 8 laps, he just turned it into a level that, quite frankly, I've never seen out of Blake Kahne before. And he tracked Hank down, and you know, Hank kept him close, but really, it just kind of seemed like Blake Kahne was in a league of his own.
You know, we've been doing some long-form interviews that have been making our man Dan back in the studio there a little crazy. But I know one of the things that we were talking about when it came to Blake, he says he didn't like to start out in front of races. He really doesn't. And I guess if I were a racer, I might share that same philosophy, because you really don't know necessarily how hard to press the issue. And yeah, there's some talented drivers that can look up at the screen and see what's going on. But he said he had that benefit of starting back in 8th place and seeing what the lay of the land was and kind of dissecting what drivers were doing. And then obviously he found the top before everybody else did. But as far as Hank Davis says, you know, he says he wished he would have maybe waited, kind of got that opportunity to come late. But regardless, though, this place was an absolute buzz last night, as about took the whole SageNet Center down as the Oklahoma boys took the top 2 transfer spots. It was very, very cool. One of the things I'll always remember, hopefully 20, 30 years from now, God willing. Stay away from the coach, by the way.
How about Jonathan Beeson last night? I think he's going to end up in a C main come Saturday, but man, it could have been a lot worse coming all the way from the D. Gets in 2 accidents in the C, has to go to the tail twice, still transfers finishing second, 14-2 in the B. Stuff like that, you really just don't see at the Chili Bowl a lot nowadays.
No, you really don't, but I think that's a byproduct of some bad decisions perhaps made earlier. Just a few moments before we came back to this segment, ran back over to the team to see how Jonathan Beeson was feeling, and one of his crew guys says, well, it wasn't a silk purse, but you know, we did get something out of it. And I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and use that because it sort of accurately describes what's going on. But Jonathan, you could still see the wheels turning in his head, and of course it all started with maybe a first lap mistake here that just sort of set the bar in motion. But you got to give the team credit. Obviously it was tough that 10-year gap between drillers for him at the shootout, and obviously bringing in all that momentum. It just didn't pan out in terms of maybe the result that they wanted, but I think we got to see them work on that race car. Can he make the Alphabet Soup run from the C main on Saturday? Well, we're going to find out, but I know Jonathan Beeson is mighty agitated about what he did last night, and certainly motivated to try to make up for it on Saturday night.
Don't count him out from getting into the feature on Saturday. Dave, want to pause real quick to go over heat race lineups for the 9 heat races that we'll take to the track tonight. 74 cars entered for this Wednesday prelim, and you take a look at heat race number 1, Corey Day. We've talked about him a lot throughout the show. He's going to start 4th in that one. Great opportunity for him to get some passing points and put himself in a good spot. Heat race number 2, Steven Chibester, Alex Bright going to join Chibester on the front row. Bright's teammate Gary Taylor got a heat race win earlier in the week, and Bright usually solid at the Chili Bowl as well. Heat race number 3, Alex Midkiff on the pole of this one. Jake Newman, a former Power A champion. How about Jake Swanson, new team this year? We've seen him successful with Bowman in previous years. He moves over to the Dave.com Kyle Bielman cars for this year's Chili Bowl. Heat race number 4, some names in this one. Austin Torgerson, that car, a team car to Tanner Thorson. He's going to be on the outside of the front row. Tim Buckwalter, teammate to Hank Davis. Tim's had some good runs at the pole in the past. Sammy Swindell, the 5-time Chili Bowl champion, cannot go backwards, rolling off 8th out of 8 cars in heat race number 4. In heat race number 5, Mitchell Moles, mentioned him earlier, teammate to Ricky Thornton Jr. in that Reinbold car. He's going to start 3rd. Shelby Hinton and Kevin Thomas Jr. the outside of those last 2 rows. Look for the 4B and the 14K to go forward. Heat race number 6, you're going to find Aiden Price in that 71X, the substitution driver for Buddy Kofoid. Colton Robinson, his teammate at Heathman's Motorsports behind him. Cale Drake also to the inside of row number 4, and that one Drake definitely going to try to move forward. Heat race number 7, it's Bradley Cox, the youngster from Oklahoma, on the front row. Colby Copeland, 27W for Matt Wood Racing. 2 cars in the top 5 in each of the first prelim nights, and Copeland's going to try to continue that trend in heat race number 7. Thomas Mesra also coming from the tail of that one. Heat race number 8, Emerson Axsom. First heat race in the Chili Bowl for Swindell Speed Lab and Kevin Swindell's team that Emerson debuts for here this evening. Emerson trying to go back-to-back in Wednesday prelims. 9th and final heat race, Jason Persley, the runner-up in last year's Chili Bowl, going to roll off in 7th for Chad Bowe. Dave, a lot of good stories, as we've talked about all throughout the show. A lot of great drivers in the field tonight. As far as these heat races go, does one stand out as particularly stacked to you, or do you feel like they're fairly evenly spread?
I kind of feel like things are mostly spread out, and obviously when I got my lineups, it was pre-Coke Splash. But, you know, I've got the names circled, some of them that you mentioned already, and we're going to be watching the Corey Days, the Jason Persleys, and the Emerson Axsoms. You mentioned Tim Buckwalter as a teammate to Hank Davis. Yeah, we believe he knows how to rip around this place, so that's a guy that I'm going to be watching from a second row in heat race number 4. And then, Kevin Thomas Jr., a great opportunity. If you're looking for points and you're starting 8th, you can make it all happen on the first lap, or you can all make it go away, just like Jonathan Beeson did yesterday. But KTJ with an opportunity to make some big-time points here. But you know what? Pretty stacked, or pretty even as far as our power players go tonight. It should be very, very entertaining, much like it was last night.
Sammy Swindell has won 5 of these things. 2009 was the last one. He made the show a couple years after that. Hasn't made the show in quite a while. I feel like he's actually just had some bad luck. He's had some fast cars, I would say, within the last 5 to 10 years at the Chili Bowl. A lot of bad luck along the way. And, he's 70 years old, so he is not what he used to be. But it seems like Sammy is just as motivated as ever. Flo posted an interview with him earlier where he said, you know what, if Tanner Thorson thinks I'm too old, then we can go outside and talk about it. So the fire's still in Sammy. I'm not going to ask you if he has one more Saturday feature start left in him, but does he have one more memorable Chili Bowl where he gives the fans something to applaud him for and appreciate all his years at the Chili Bowl?
I suppose it depends on what side of the fence you fall on. If you happen to miss, the glory years of Sammy inside of the Sage Net Center running with the World of Outlaws, you might not think that there's going to have that other magical moment. You're not going to find that defining moment in a young person's career. But for those of us that have been hanging out for a while, hey, listen, every time Sammy Swindell shows up, it's always A, such a pleasure to see him, because B, we recognize how good he was in the past. And do we think that those magical moments are there? Maybe, maybe not. But you know what? I dare to dream, and why not starting 8th tonight when you got a guy like Flea Ruzick? They're trying things all the time with that squared-off back-end car that continues to go down this racetrack. But you know what? The Sammy Swindell that you can walk right over there and talk to you right now is the same exact Sammy Swindell as he was back in 1992 when I first saw him back in the TMC car. In fact, David Hessmer, his 360 counterpart from back at the Knoxville Raceway, is here as well this weekend. So it's like old home week anytime you go over there. But that is the same race car driver that is still burning inside of there, that wants to turn laps, that just wants to keep going. And so I believe, much like Santa Claus, that Sammy can have another good one.
Hey, I would love to see it. I think race fans all around the world would be happy to see it too. Last question for you before we let you enjoy this Wednesday night racing. It seems like, as the week goes on, I guess let's start with Monday. Everything's kind of calm and laid back in the Expo. Everybody's happy to be back and seeing all their friends. As the week goes on, people get pissed off. Things get kind of chippy. Intensity in the building seems to build up. What's the vibe like around the Expo Center right now?
You know what? It actually, as far as Chili Bowls compared to years past, it really seems like we haven't had things that have necessarily boiled over too much. The flip count seems to be relatively tame, and the fact that we can actually maybe get out and box these things out should it come to it, we haven't necessarily seen a lot of that yet. I would love to see some of it because we know that race car drivers are very passionate, but the intensity starting to wrap up a little bit. It's tough to actually hear the words we've reached the halfway point of the Chili Bowl, because that means we're just a couple of days away from getting to Saturday. So intensity, it should wrap up tonight because, again, we talked about the very level playing field, but it's just so great to be here. Hard to believe that this thing has gone from a 3-day event to the 6-day event it is now. So still plenty of time to get things ramped up. I guarantee Saturday's going to be a barn burner come a feature time.
Definitely so, and maybe tonight as well. Dave, go by Jackson or Coors Light for following you around that whole that whole pit walk.
I got Coke for him.
Love it. Have a good night, Dave. That is going to wrap up Dirt Vision pre-race coverage of this York Plumbing Wednesday night. We invite you now to switch over to Flow Racing, where you'll catch every lap live of tonight's Chili Bowl and, of course, all week long as well. That wraps up today for Dirt Vision. We'll be back tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We hope you have a better day than Dave Rieff is having, covered in Coke. We'll see you tomorrow.
This has been a presentation of Dirt Vision, a World Racing Group property. For information about upcoming broadcasts, follow us on social media, including Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. You can also watch more than 2,500 classic races and shows anytime at dirtvision.com or the Dirt Vision app.